the taste of dirt was in my mouth for like a day and a half. I mean, it was
Yeah.
crazy, absolutely. And then the trail would like point down.
Yeah.
And if you're behind someone and that dust is kicked up and it's super narrow and super steep, all you can do is just like, okay, I'm just trusting that my bike's going to roll over everything in here because I can't see and you can't slow down.
Yeah. That's I watched I watched all of it. But that one crash that you took was pretty nasty. I mean, I'm really glad that you didn't get hurt.
Well, that's a different line. That's a different crash than the one I was talking about. I had 3 crashes that day.
Okay. Okay.
The crash that you're talking about, yeah, was my third and final crash. It was my worst crash.
Yeah.
And it was the very end of the day. And I did not go back up and do that one again because that crash was bad enough that all the guys were like, hey, because I like said it out loud. I was like, maybe I should, like, I could do this. Maybe I should go back up and do it. And all the guys were like, maybe not. Yeah. Like you walked away from that. Like maybe we just call it a day, you know, like that one. I went over the handlebars. I went down hard and the bike somersaulted past me and almost like hit Arturo. And that's a different story. That was the end of the day. And but I want to give you a chance to respond unless you want me to get into what happened there, because I think I know.
Well, no, I don't know if you want to get into it, but one of the things that I wanted to kind of, and we talked about it, we touched on it, we started touching on it in the last pod about, you know, your legs, you know, and how you were like, I'm squeezing the seat. But I actually started studying more of the video, and it's not just the legs, you know, I think you struggle with just being loose in general. Like, it's not just legs. It's like when I watch your whole entire body, I don't know if stiff is the right word, but stiff is the only thing that comes to mind. Because like when I watch, when I watch Joe and I watch Jeff,
I'm at attention. The commanding officer is in front of me, and I am at attention. I'm in riding position. I'm low. I'm in the riding position. But like I am in formal. Yeah, I am stiff as a board. Absolutely. Yeah. It's hard for me to lighten up, to be dynamic on the bike. I do struggle with that. So I'm curious on your feedback. Go ahead.
So, but part of being stiff on the bike, I mean, not only does that prevent you from being able to move around. When we say dynamic, that's what we mean by dynamic. It means being able to move around. That the bike could be going one way and your body could be going another way. You're fluid. You're very fluid. But part of the problem with being stiff is also like braking, right? Like that comes with stiffness. If you think about like what happens when you get nervous and you get scared is you clench, right? In your case, you're clenching your top tube or your seat, you know, but you're also clenching your fists.
I'm making diamonds. By the end of the ride, I'm not diamonds. I stick some coal up there before the ride.
Oh yeah.
The harder the ride, the wealthier I am by the end.
People are dying to ride behind you. They're like, I'm going to ride behind Danny. This guy's spitting out diamonds.
This dude's crapping diamonds. I'm spitting gold on the podcast and crapping diamonds on the trail. Here we go. Oh my God. That'll be my ride and laugh shirt. Be gold in the front, diamonds in the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of that issue, and you talked about this a lot, is like your need to brake, you know, and that comes from being stiff. You know, if you think about when you get nervous, things tighten up, and one of your first things you do is you grip, and when you're gripping brake, obviously, right? So it's like all playing a part in just not letting you become loose. And the thing that you are really good at is once you master something, you are like just incredibly talented on the bike. But for you to get to that point takes so much sessioning and so much repetition. And you're not getting that right now. Like everything's a first time feature, you know, hoodoo, you know, like how many times can we do hoodoo? Once. That's it. You get one shot at hoodoo because that climb is just vicious, you know? So it's like, I just feel like if you had
I do appreciate that take. I think it comes back down to trust. And when I'm trusting my skills and I'm letting the bike move underneath me, and sometimes that takes a conscious effort from me. And to your point, if the more you do that on the gnarly trails, the more you trust. You know, Jeff and I went down the Mormon Trail down to 24th Street, and we pretty much rode that blind follow, and it's really chunky. And we did Holbert again, and it's really chunky. And that's sort of like, but I was able to relax into it and enjoy it and ride it more. And most of the day at Sunrise, I was able to relax and let the bike move under me, and let sometimes I even say to myself, let the bike eat. I got this like big, burly, awesome enduro bike. Like, let it eat. Let it just do its thing underneath, and don't have to pick lines so carefully sometimes. Like sometimes speed just kind of smooths out the trail. And I watch Jeff and I watch Arturo and I watch Joe, and they're flowing through this tech at speed, and the trail's like magically smooth when they're doing that. But they're also dynamic on the bike.
You're proving my point.
And I think when I come up to the high consequence, I think it's when I'm absolutely making your point, but when I come up to the high consequence feature, or the one that, and I'm not just flowing into it, I tighten up. I tighten up, and when I relax, I can do anything. When I'm tight, there's almost a like 0% chance that I'm going to be successful.
Yeah, you absolutely.
Listener, let us know if you suffer from this at all. Yeah.
Yeah, you all the things that you mentioned that you're really good at, that you've gotten better at, are things that you've been able to ride more than once. You know, that you've been able to session. Maybe it's not more than once in one day, but like over time, you've gotten a few goes at something.
I think just certain types of tech I'm more comfortable at. You know, South Mountain, I'm more comfortable at that, you know, now, because so even though I'm riding that trail blind, and there's a couple of pass-throughs, alt lines that are incredibly steep that I totally rode blind, really steep, buzzing your butt steep.
Yeah,
I got it. I was flowing. I was trusting. And then some features just don't suit my eye, and I have a hard time relaxing into it, even when my brain's like, yeah, you got this.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. There's certain things that just don't suit your eye. I think that's everybody. This is different. And I think it's one of those things where you have to get to a point where your first reaction isn't to make a diamond. You know, your first reaction is the opposite. It's to have diarrhea. Like, you want to be that loose. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was wondering where that was going to go. I was like, what is the opposite of clenching so hard that I think a diamond? So now, either way, I'm crapping on the trail. That's what you're saying. Right or wrong, you're leaving something on the trail.
Yeah, but you get my point, though. It's like, that's what we need to get to, is that your first reaction is to get loose, not get tight. And that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. You know, I don't know if I have the answer. I don't, because I don't experience that, you know, like my first reaction when I get to something new, and the reason why that I'm able to ride blind trails so fast is I actually get more aggressive. Like, instead of tightening up,
right,
I get more like, all right, let me get into this, and I'll actually put in moves and whatever. And it's like, but that's my comfort zone. Like, that's where I feel more comfortable. And I think a lot of that stems from getting used to moving and being dynamic on the trail when I don't need to be. And I often make fun of myself, you know, like, oh, I probably look silly or blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff is intentional.
You do make fun of yourself, like, oh, I didn't need to do that move, or I didn't need to do that little,
I'm fidgety,
and endo turn, or whatever it is. And but I think it's practice. I think it makes perfect sense. And one of the things that I've talked about recently on previous podcasts is, instead of letting our minds just wander when it's easy, stay present. And then when it gets hard, you're still present, because that's what happens. My mind wanders, and I tend to overthink. And that fear response, it kicks in. And so if I'm practicing being aggressive, and I'm practicing being relaxed on the easy stuff when I'm normally not doing anything, then maybe I can start to override that fear response when things get hard.
Yeah.
I have done it in the past. I have done it. I am getting there. It's just not my default. My default when I'm not grounded is still to go back in fear. And as soon as I saw that dust, and that the conditions weren't what I wanted, and I couldn't see, and I couldn't follow the guys in front of me, I really wanted to be able to follow their lines. As soon as I saw that, then the overthinking started to kick in. This isn't what I wanted, right? But that was what was there. And if everything is happening for us, then that day was for me to learn to commit and to trust. And that was the ride that I was supposed to have.
We're doing all the crashing so that you don't have to. You're welcome.
Yes. Yes, you're welcome. Maybe that's a Ride Laugh shirt, right? It just says, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
And then it has a picture of us in the background on the back of the shirt, like all banged up. I mean, let me tell you, I was so stiff on that fall that as I was ejected from the bike and was flipping over backwards, essentially, or flipping over forward over the bike, diamonds are flying out of my butt. It was a rainbow of diamonds. It was beautiful. It's amazing. Meanwhile, poor Arturo came up to record me. Thank you so much. He's so good at getting up and getting the camera out and everything like that. And he's like dodging my bike. Like my bike came at him at like 95 miles per hour. You know? Yeah. I was more worried about him afterwards. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't. I was just like, "Holy crap."
You did that to me at Natalie too. And you were like, "Why didn't you try and stop me?" As you're like rolling down the down the face of the mountain.
I didn't expect you to stop me. No,
but I did almost crush you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh."
Well, Arturo is maybe a much kinder person, or maybe just much more foolish, because I crashed twice when he was right there. And I believe one time he tried to catch my bike and the other time he tried to catch me. And I was like, just get out of the way. Maybe when you're recording Danny, maybe just like back up an extra 5 feet.
He's wearing a chest
danger area
for a totally different reason.
Yeah, seriously. As soon as he sees me approaching and he sees how stiff I am, he should be like, "Uh-oh, like back up." He's not dynamic. His knees are squeezing the seat post. That dude is not dynamic. I'm out of here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good sign on when to bail on your friends when you see them approaching the obstacle or the feature and they're too stiff.